I've made over $20 million trading crypto. I started completely broke, and in this video, I'm going to be breaking down the 7 lessons that made it possible for me to get here. These are lessons that most traders never actually learn, and I'm not going to give you the BS, I'm not going to give you the fluff, I'm just going to tell you the raw reality. So let's go. And before I get started, this is an autopsy of what actually worked for me. The psychological shifts, the tactical frameworks, and the mindset rewiring that took me from checking my bank account in fear to building generational wealth from a laptop. I started with nothing, no mentor, no connections, and no shortcuts. Just obsession and an unhealthy level of curiosity. So I'm going to give you 7 lessons. Let's begin. Lesson 1 is obsession is the only currency that matters. Obsession is the foundation of everything else, not talent, not intelligence, and not indicators. And I don't mean just checking charts once in the morning. I mean checking crypto as the first thing you think about when you wake up and the last thing you think about when you sleep. Let me just paint a picture of my life for you when I was growing up. It looked like this. I would wake up at 6 a.m. to Discord pings because I fell asleep researching. And then I would immediately check crypto Twitter. What's trending? What happened in Asia? Then 18 hours of sessions, straight scanning contracts, wallets, narratives. And back in the day, it was checking my alpha groups for NFTs, new mints, and etc. I was on voice with my partners, analyzing, watching, and tracking movement, and days passed like minutes because I genuinely loved it. And that's the difference, right? Real obsession doesn't feel like suffering, it feels like flow. Crypto rewards obsessed people because it never sleeps. Crypto is the only market with 24 hours, 7 days, no breaks. And while traditional markets close, we're still hunting. And there's still volume during US hours, Asian hours, European hours, and opportunities constantly present themselves. But with all that freedom comes one differentiator. Who's willing to actually show up every single day? Think about it like this. Most people treat crypto and investing like a side hustle, and then they scan for an hour after the 9 to 5. And maybe they buy into something that their friend mentioned, and they wonder why they're not making any money. That's not how it works, and every single person who has made life-changing money in crypto that I know was simply obsessed. And yes, I would actually trade for 18-hour sessions, or at least just research, or just be inside of the crypto environment, because every single move felt like progress, and every single loss taught me something. The uncomfortable truth of this is that you're competing against people who are obsessed and people who are going to find opportunities before you. So ask yourself, are you obsessed or just interested? Because interest won't get you rich, obsession will. And lesson 2 is that your psychology determines everything. I blew my first few accounts not because my strategy was bad, but because my mindset was trash. Trading is 90% a mental game. That technical stuff, that's easy because any single person can learn charts. But controlling yourself when you're down 50K, when you're down 100K, staying disciplined after you hit a 10x trade and not actually revenge trading after some losses, that's where most people fail, and you're one of them. You're overly confident after a win streak. You get hit by FOMO and you feel the urge to revenge trade. Okay, just going outside of this lesson stuff, let me just bring you back to some old times of me. So this was last bull cycle, NFTs. And that's a picture of me when I was like 14 years old with my Bored Apes and other side NFTs and hundreds of Ethereum in my wallet. And Bored Apes were 150 Ethereum at the time for one picture. Think about that. It was peak euphoria. These apes were going for like $500,000 USD. And this is me in one of my wallets with $3.8 million. So that's just my camera roll. But let me just explain something. As I said, you are overly confident after a win streak. And for reference, that was my first ever cycle. And I was also 14 years old. I'd never materialized any money I made. So I didn't know how valuable millions of dollars were to a normal person. So I made $11 million that cycle. And I full ported pretty much that NFT called Other Side NFT, as you can see right there. And I was up $5 million unrealized. But then I bag held it because I had conviction in it. I thought I was going to make more money on it. I thought I was going to turn that 10 million into 100 million. Honestly, that happens more often than you would think in these market conditions, at least. So psychology determines everything, because right after that, my $11 million turned into 2 million and I had to make it all back. Let me break down the 4 psychological demons that you will face. Number 1 is overconfidence. A few wins will make you feel invincible. You size up, you break rules, and the market humbles you aggressively. I fell into this category. I honestly fell into many of these categories, but This is the one that ruined me. Number 2, fear and hesitation. Burned once, you start second guessing perfect setups. And then you don't have conviction, so you use small size, you have late entries, and you miss the runners that you would have actually bought into. Number 3 is revenge trading. This one kills accounts the fastest, and this is probably the most prevalent among beginners. Loss turns into emotional reaction, and that turns into a random entry, and that turns into a bigger loss. My rule is that if a loss pisses me off, I leave my desk, no exceptions. Number 4 is FOMO. Seeing a pump and jumping in late is how most traders get slaughtered. Here's the mindset shift that saved me. Think in sets of 100 trades, not one. One big win, that doesn't matter. One big loss, that doesn't matter. There are so many opportunities here in crypto. As I said, it's a 24/7 market, so zoom out. And lesson 3, risk management is your lifeline. This is the difference between making millions or blowing your 10th account. This is the only reason why I'm still here. You don't blow accounts because your strategy sucks. You blow accounts because you ignored risk. And honestly, I blew my first big account, my big portfolio, because I ignored risk. Two ways traders nuke accounts is number 1, overtrading, and number 2, oversizing. When you overtrade, you have small cuts over and over. Oversizing is one massive wrong trade ends everything. And risk management, to keep it frank with you guys, is the only safety net that you have. Here's some non-negotiable rules that I would advise for you guys. So rule number 1, never risk more than 2% per trade, especially if you have a higher portfolio. Let's say a 100K account. If you have a lower portfolio, maybe you can use up to 10% risk, but that's only a 2K max loss. 2% feels slow, but over 100 trades, that's life-changing. Rule number 2, define your stop before you enter. You should know exactly where your trade is invalidated. For example, in crypto, it's an attention and information-based market. For example, crypto is entirely information and attention-based market. And if your thesis is invalidated, there is no reason why you should be bag holding those coins. Number 3, never widen your stop. Only move stops up as the trade works, never down. You are here to make money and not marry your invisible bags. Remember, crypto money is not real money until it is turned into real fiat USD. And rule number 4, position size stays consistent. Your confidence should not determine position size. Your framework should. I'll give you a quick analogy real quick. 8 losses in a row will cost me 16%. That's annoying, but that's not account ending. And 2 winners after that put me up 20%. So risk management is the only reason why I survived long enough to win big. Lesson number 4, master capital rotation. This is the difference between 4-figure traders and 7-figure traders. Crypto moves in narrative waves. If you haven't noticed already, there have been waves of narratives like AI coins, political coins, culture memes, utility tokens, and new chain rotation. Recently, we've had the flywheel meta. Sometimes crypto volume surges on different chains, like Solana goes to Ethereum and then to Base, and then more recently BNB, and then back again. Your job is not to marry a narrative. Your job is to know where the capital is now and where it's going next. When a narrative is exhausted, don't keep buying it. Move on to the next narrative. An example of the cycle would be AI pumps, and then it gets saturated, and then rotation moves to politics, and then memes, then utility, and then next layer 1 hype. This happens every single cycle. Most traders lose because they keep trading last month's hot narrative. Look guys, if you're in an AI coin and AI meta dies, and all the mind share is onto politics or ICM or CCM, then why are you still holding onto your dead bags? Attention moves so fast, and you can't just keep your liquidity lying there. And I can't even lie, I've been victim to this so many times myself. For example, my big NFT loss, I lost $9 million. And then early on with the meme coin cycle, I bag held large positions of meme coins. And then I got rinsed because Trump vamped every single coin. Luckily, I hit on Trump. You need to track where attention currently is. Understand why liquidity moved there and then predict where excitement goes next. Identify catalysts that spark new rotations. That skill alone made me millions. So as I said, I actually took first-hand experience with this, actually holding some meme coins in my bag after Trump deployed. We hit a $12.6 million P&L on this, thankfully, though. So Trump and Melania were overall a huge net positive for us. I personally made over $4 million trading Trump coin, and actually we called it at $500 million market cap. And if you know anything about Trump, it went up to 80 bill. So if you do the math on Trump coin, we actually hit over 160x on Trump coin alone. And we actually tracked Trump coin as soon as it dropped, like literally seconds after, because we have Twitter trackers in our Discord. So let me explain capital rotation, because nothing stays hot forever, right? So Trump coin, it deployed on January 17th. These were the major meme coins on January 17th. Popcat, Flog, notably, right? At January 17th, Flog was at around 250 million market cap, and I was actually DCAing here. Mindshare dropped,
and narratives shift all the way down to zero. Same with Popcat. Popcat was sitting at 700 million market cap. Where is it now? 88 million, almost down 90% from the point where Trump deployed. Lesson 5 is that narrative identification is your edge. Rotation tells you the sector, and narrative identification tells you the specific coins that will explode. You can understand rotation, you can understand that, okay, this meta is hot, but if you can't identify which specific coins are going to 10x, you're still not making money. And this took me years to develop, and it's made me the most money. And narrative identification is actually the exact framework that I teach inside of Fortune Collective, my private trading group, and it's also the framework that I use. It's helped my students make multiple 6 and 7 figures and hit plays like 6-7 coin, which was at 1.1 mil to almost 40 mil. So that's a 40x. Monero-chan was a 70x, and these are all coins that we called. So if you want to hit plays like this, 70x, 53x, 15x right here, apply for Fortune in the link in the description. My framework is that I ask 4 questions to myself. Question 1 is, what audience does this coin speak to? Broader the audience, the bigger ceiling it is. Question number 2 is, why would that audience buy? You need a strong hook. You need good backing, timing, community, tokenomics, relevance. And I want you to understand what it means to make a coin so special. As I said, if it has influential backing, for example, KOLs, key opinion leaders, celebrities, respected devs, if the founder has specific business accolades or a strong community forming, then it might be a green flag. The weak reasons should be, oh yeah, this chart looks good, or the ticker is funny, or someone mentioned it. Those are horrible excuses that I see a lot of beginners say. I'll give you a real example. My group called AOL at 300k, it went to 13 mil, so that was a 43x. But more than just the P&L, I'll explain why. The meme coin on Trump's crypto fund was relatable. It was a timely narrative because it was during World Liberty Fi era. It was the advisor CTOing and had credible backing. So strong culture tied to influential backing and a timely narrative equals a winner in that meta / narrative. Again, this is our group P&L, 264k. We called it all the way down here, actually 44x actually, and I made 63 SOL on it personally. Question number 3, what is the ceiling on the attention? I want you to understand longevity, like how far can this actually go? Are there multiple catalysts? Or is the narrative one and done? The ceiling could extend through implemented promised flywheel or major coin exchange listings or product launches or major partners, or if it generates some real revenue. Each event equals new attention and new buyers. I also want to tell you to ask yourself question number 4. When will the attention die? That should be your invalidation point. You have to ask yourself, when do people stop caring? If it's a news coin, if the news dies, it dies. Define your invalidation point before you even enter. Then you're not emotional. You know exactly when to exit because you've already decided. For example, if X happens, narrative is dead and I'm out. You can get great at this by doing repetitions. Analyze 100 past winners, build theses on them before each trade, break down plays you missed, train pattern recognition until it's automatic. After seeing thousands of these coins and how they played out, you can look at a coin for 30 seconds and know if it has potential. This is my biggest competitive edge because a lot of people ask, James, how do you find out which coin is good? How do you know which coin is good? And my honest answer to that is a lot of repetition and actually understanding how to analyze all of these. And for me, it's just quick, simple process. Literally 10 seconds, I know if a coin could have potential or not. So then after that quick filter in my head, I can do more due diligence on it and actually apply my alpha filter strategy. And lesson number 6 is you don't have to trade every single day. And I know that sounds kind of counterintuitive after every single thing I've said about obsession, but it's true. When I started, I believed that if I wasn't trading, I wasn't making money, so I'd find a way to force trades. Sometimes I'd wake up feeling pressured that I had to do something, and then that led to my worst losses. Some days just have no real setups, just noise and traps, and trading on those days, you're just burning money and time out of boredom or pressure. I know this sounds crazy, guys, but crypto always has something moving, but there's a difference between movement and opportunity. Movement is just price action. It happens 24/7. Opportunity, guys, is when conditions align with your strategy. Clear narrative, strong momentum, defined risk, and proper risk to reward ratio. And I categorize days into 3 types. High opportunity, trade aggressively. Medium opportunity, be selective. And low opportunity, don't trade. Simple, right? For example, one of my best months ever, that was 1.3 million profit, and I only traded 10 days. If you've seen this tweet, you know it. This is verified. I made 1.32 million in the past 30 days. During that month, I only traded 10 days. I mean, notably, I hit Yeezy, which is a 1.1 million profit. But most traders lose because they force mediocre setups. Your job isn't to trade daily. Your job is to wait for your system to align. And lesson number 7 is take accountability and journal everything. Nobody wants to hear this, but if you're not profitable, it's your fault. Not whales, not insiders, not market manipulation. It's you. And that's empowering because it means you can fix it. The only way to improve is to track your decisions. I want you to own all your wins and losses, and I want you to be harsh on yourself. Journal every single time. A proper journal includes why you entered, what you felt, market context, your thesis, what went right and what went wrong, and ultimately what you learned from that entire situation. After 100+ journal trades, you will discover when you overtrade, when emotions sabotage you, which setups work the best, what your real win rate is, and which strategies bleed your account. Over time, you'll have actual data that you can act on and how you can actually continuously improve. No journaling equals no improvement, period. So in conclusion, I went from broke to 20 million plus trading crypto and meme coins, but not from luck, not from insider calls, and not from gambling, because from these 7 lessons that I just taught you, obsession, psychology, risk management, capital rotation, narrative identification, selective trading, accountability, and journaling, if you implement these and really implement them, you'll win. It's inevitable, but most people don't. But if you do, it's only a matter of time before every single thing clicks.
Now, I know there's a massive learning curve, and quite honestly, it is overwhelming to figure it out alone. And that's why I created the Fortune Collective. Inside, you get direct access to me and my one-on-one mentorship. You'll have live group calls, a complete curriculum, and a community that keeps you accountable. Bayside, a 15-year-old kid came in with a few $100s and now is managing a $300,000 portfolio. Toe hit multiple $1 million plays alongside me, and Howie bought his dream car, which was a Ferrari 458 off of our calls. And there's dozens like this, and they've all integrated the 7 lessons I taught you today. So if you're serious and actually serious about this, click the link in the description to apply. I'll see you guys in the next one.